Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. We are so excited to have you again. One of Nigerians, human rights activist, and who is also a lawyer, I'm talking about Kenechukwu Okeke, has decided to step forward to charge some of the celebrities who were behind the EndSars protest. For him, they were like promoters of the protest, and he has initiated a criminal proceeding against them. Kenechukwu Okeke is actually a Nigerian lawyer and a human rights activist that have decided to take this bold step of dragging 50 people to court as EndSARS promoter and protesters. And the list of people he took to court was majorly filled with Nigerian celebrities and also Twitter influencer. Kenechukwu Okeke argued that his properties were destroyed during the protest by alleged protesters, and he wanted the promoters brought to book. The list is so much, and I tell you that even pastors are inclusive in the list. But guess what? The first person whose name appears on the list is actually Aisha Yesufu. And the expectation was that she was going to react, showing remorse, or maybe she was going to come out to latch the guy. But then, surprisingly, she did not. I'm going to read you her tweet after this came into the media. That's when this legal proceeding came into the media. Now, the list of names of most of the top Nigerian celebrities, which I would like you to know, is Aisha is number one, Aisha Yusufu. We had also the likes of Burna Boy, Davido, Falz, Mr. Macaroni, Tauma, P Square, two of them, Paul and Peter Okoye, both of them are there. Two Face is also there, Don Jazzy, and also Tiwa Savage. Peter Sam Adeyemi, well-renowned motivational speaker and also inspirational pastor. His name is included, and a human rights activist, ex-Super Eagles legend Kanu Nwankwo's name is also there. Journalist Kiki Modi, her name is also inclusive. And lawyer Kenechukwu Okeke revealed his intention to sue all these people in a tweet he tweeted on 30th of October 2020. He had already pre-informed Nigerians that he was going to sue all these people. So let me just take you down to his tweet. And then on the 30th of October, he said, I shall instigate a private criminal prosecution against all the alleged perpetrators and coordinator of the EndSARS riot on Twitter. The nation bleed, life lost, and properties worth billions destroyed as a result of sheer recklessness of some person. That was what he did. But eventually, he has succeeded with his plan as he revealed the name of all the people involved in a tweet on 9th of November 2020. And I'm going to read part of what he wrote. And he says here, having initiated criminal proceeding against the EndSARS riot promoters at exactly 10:52 hours, the West African time on the 9th of November 2020, we shall ensure that same is diligently prosecuted in the interest of defense, public safety, and public order. The Federal Government Republic of Nigeria is a country of law. That's what he had to say, and then he made public, everything. And in other tweet, he said there is a motion praying the magistrates for an order directing that the charges and other subsequent court processes in relation to the criminal proceeding be effected on the accused persons by posting, publishing, and sharing same as they become due via Twitter. Having regards to the case of ESO West Africa Incorporated versus T. Oyebola of 1969, wherein the Supreme Court of Nigeria opines that the law cannot be and is not ignorant of modern business method and must not shut its eyes to the mystery of the computer. And then he wrote other things, copying a lot of which all the people who are involved. And for many, it's quite a shocker that this young man has decided to take this step. And someone here came up. Let me just read one or two reactions of Nigerians. This one says here, Kenechukwu, why make yourself a Judas Iscariot? Like him, you are being used to fulfill a prophecy, and you will be cursed like him. This one said, don't mind some of these lawyers who are now estate managers, property sales, sellers. Some have turned to house agents, now looking for relevance in Nigerian politics. Someone says, another one says he's seeking cheap popularity, which will continue to elude him. This one says, yeah, this guy is a clown. He needs to be hunted down. Another person said, the man said his properties were destroyed. Who will pay for the destruction of his property? The instigator of the violence shall be liable since they are still alive. How do you know that they were the ones that instigated the violence? Now, one of the things that we must understand here is that these guys did not talk about violence. They did not encourage any form of violence. That's why, looking at this legal process, I'm just surprised that someone would step out to do this. Because if you look at all the content of most of the tweets from these people, we will stay on the street until our demands are made. They highlighted some of the things that have been done, which they have the right to step out and register their displeasure over the poor performance of the government. And they did that peacefully. Now, after doing what they did, the first thing that we saw, I keep repeating this because I know this is actually the truth. After a while, some miscreants came. At first, they did not engage in destruction of properties. They were pursuing these peaceful protesters who were running for their dear lives. Now, if you go to some of the tweets of some of these guys who are being shown here, none of them called for violence against the public property or against private businesses. Not even one of them. They were only talking about the brutality of the police and also the need for SARS to be ended. And a judicial commission should be in place looking at some of the cases of these police who had brutalized people. Those were some of the things that they pointed out and they needed the government to do. Based on the provision of the Constitution, during a period of peaceful protest like this, it is a duty of the security to protect them so that in the event of any form of violence, they can be protected and those who are initiating the violence can be arrested. But even when those guys came out to do all what they did, we noticed that the police were overly calm. Even in the process of burning police stations and all of that, it wasn't, whatever that had happened was because of the fact that these hoodlums noticed that security wise, everyone were careless. Those who were put in charge of security, they were not doing their work as they ought to do it. So all these things that are talking about destruction of property, putting it on them, for me, I don't know how true, I don't know how the case will look like because I'm not a lawyer, but we are still waiting to see what will happen when the proceedings start in court. Don't forget also that Gaba Shehu had already said that all the celebrities who were promoters of all the persons who were promoters of the EndSars protest, that they will be brought to book because Nigeria is actually a country that is governed by law. So putting all of this together, you can now see that the government is serious about this and they will do everything within their power to ensure that justice is served to these people. But guess what? At the end of the day, it will turn out to be in their own favor because there's nothing drastic. For me also, I believe that this step taken by individual and what the presidency has said about those who were involved in the process, those who were, fully involved, and also those who were tweeting by the sites and those who were, fully involved or who promoted it, that they are going to be dealt with. It has started. I believe this is a step towards breeding fear so that Nigerians shouldn't protest again. I mean, when I see things like this, it's so shocking because it keeps making our democracy to, live and stay at the cradle level. If you don't have the capacity to stand criticism, there is no need for you to come into government. Now, especially in a democratic setting. Now, we got to understand something. That government that we are talking is not government of your father's house. It's not government of your mother's house. Neither is it government that you personally fund anything. You are not the one funding the funding public property. You're not the one doing anything for Nigeria. It's taxpayers' money. And they have the right to hold you responsible and say, oh God, on this premise, you're not doing well. Look at the level of insecurity in the north. Countless people have written and begged, please, the service chief have done their best, but I feel that they should be replaced. New people should come on board. Till today, they're still intact. And you feel the people will be happy because the government you're talking about is actually yours. You were being, it's a kind of a royalty stuff, I'm of royal family, so I just got myself into that place and I have the right to stay as long as possible. That's not true. If you want to serve, get ready to serve. Be ready to develop thick skin when during period of criticism. Be ready to do the right thing. Guess what? I'm shocked. Let me not say I'm shocked. This particular administration have taken us very backward when it comes to democracy. I mean, very backward when it comes to democracy. We are really, really going back. And I feel that we need to handle this with so much, carefulness and all of that. I've spoken enough. But I'd like to leave you. Go to our comment section. Let's talk there. What do you think about this step taken by Kenechukwu? Do you think